Yes, that's right. We're going to add a little fire touch. Manja, manja, bon appetit, let's eat. It's time for Tanks Cooks. Manja, manja, bon appetit, let's eat. It's time for Tanks Cooks. It's time once again for Tanks Cooks. Onions! Yes, that's right. I am making some onion soup. I'm making it in the crock pot, and a lot of people have sent this recipe to me. So let's get ready to make some delicious onion soup. You know, Liam Harris also sent a recipe. I'm going to try to use a configuration of all the people who sent me recipes, and thank you for sending me recipes. But onion soup, I know you've been waiting for it, so here it is. All right, the first step, of course, is you got to make the onions. So let's slice up some onions. We'll use these nice little sweet onions, how sweet they are. And peel the outer layer, that crusty layer from your onion, because you don't want to cook that, of course. Peeling the onion, peel the onion, peel the onion, peel the onion. Maybe one day I'll try to make that onion blossom again. I really fucked that one up. Hopefully I don't fuck this up. A little greenish tint on this one. And we are ready to cut these onions. Yes. There we go. So we're slicing up an onion. Slice the onion. Look at this. This thing's magical. All right, here's our largest onion. A little tougher to cut this one with the mandolin. All right, so I guess we have to just chop this one regular. All right, so let's chop this bitch up. All right, let's get ready to fry this bitch up. All right, we're getting ready to saute these onions, and we got to start off by putting in a half stick of butter. Get that butter nice and melty. But you have to saute these onions before you actually put them into the crock pot. That's the hardest part of this whole thing. All right, as the butter melts, let's get ready to add in these onions. All right, here's the rest of the onions. We'll saute these up really nice. Yikes, I think I need a bigger pan. Fuck. All right, put a little more butter in there because lost some of the butter here. So here we are moving it to a bigger pan. We got to saute these onions. There we go. Now it's sauteing. All right, so let's get these onions all sauteed. Guess we'll all break down the onions. And it's going to take about 20-30 minutes to saute these onions. Ooh, how did that get past me? All right, so we got to saute these onions. Make them soft, make them brown, so they can go into our crock pot. And of course, while you saute the onions, you should accent the onions. Wake up those food flavors. Of course, while you're sauteing the onions, you should saute the onions. Yeah, just a little salt. All right, gotta keep an eye on these sauteing onions. Gotta make them brown. Oh, we'll do some of them clear. There we go. Before we put them into our crock pot. All right, while that's sauteing, let's get our crock pot ready. We're gonna put in 64 ounces of beef broth. Some Worcestershire sauce, about a tablespoon worth of Worcestershire sauce. So let's put in some Worcestershire sauce. Yeah, it's probably about a tablespoon. Next up, we got to put in some minced garlic. So let's get the minced garlic. Let's get the minced garlic. There we go. Yeah, there we go, just a little bit extra. Then we gotta put a third cup of sherry. All right, there we go. We'll put a third cup of sherry in there. Here we go, 1/3 cup of sherry. Sherry in the onion soup. All right. And we'll throw in a little bit of spice in there. We'll throw a little granulated garlic. A little bit of onion powder. And of course, gotta put in the accent. And don't forget the lemon. All right, we got the lemon pepper in there now. Now we got to put in some thyme. We're going to put in some fresh thyme. Let's keep an eye on these sauteing onions. They're heating up. They're finally starting to sweat a little bit in the pan. I have just enough time to make enough time. Here we go. This thyme looks a lot better. Look at that. All right, how do I cut and film at the same time? All right, let me just, you know what? I'll just like crumble up my hands. Here we go. Yeah, I'm crushing the thyme. There it is. Yeah, there we go. Now that's how you make thyme in soup. All right, the onions are starting to brown. It's almost time to put them into the crock pot. When they're all brown, that's when we'll be able to do it. There it is. Da-da-da. All right, looks like we're getting there. Yeah, there we go. All right, here we go. We got a little golden brown. That's what we're looking for. Took about 20 to 30 minutes to cook all these onions. And now it's time to put it into the crock pot. Into the crock pot, into the crock pot, into the crock pot. Let's go. Doing it one-handed really is not easy. Into the crock pot. There we go. All right. All right, once we got the onions into the crock pot, we'll stir it. Make sure everything mixes and blends together. We'll toss in a little bit of grated cheese, if you please. Which is we're going to put on a little bit of bay leaf. A bay leaf to belief. So let's top it off with some bay leaves on top. 1 and a 2, a 3 and a 4, 5. A little bit of bay leaves on top of our onion soup. There it is. Let's spread Spread the bay leaves around. All right. Now we're gonna seal this up and let it cook on low for 8 hours. All right, let's go for a walk and let this baby cook. All right, we've been cooking this all day, and we got the broiler set. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some sourdough bread on a cookie sheet. Now this is kind of stale bread. I would say very, very stale bread. No, I'm actually gonna take the smaller pieces. That's gonna be better for us. We got some sourdough bread. It's kind of stale, a couple of days old, a couple of days past date. We're gonna toss these onto a cookie sheet. And we're gonna squirt a little olive oil on them and put them in the broiler for about 5 minutes to toast this up. La 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 la, the last step for onion soup. Doop-a-doop. The last steps for onion soup. Doop-a-doop. Yeah, I'll put a little more just in case we need it. Nice little pieces there. Little pieces just to toast this up a little bit with some olive oil on it to revive it, to drive it. Don't forget to contrive it. We're gonna put this in the broiler for about 5 minutes. All right, we're gonna shred up some Gruyère cheese. Yeah, that's right, some cheddar, whatever this is. Gruyère cheese. I hope I'm saying that right. And this is a special one. It's triple pepper. Naturally semi-hard. Well, let's see how we shred this. Shred, shred, shred the cheese gently as you please. Shredding up Gruyère cheese, that's how we please. Shred, shred, shred the cheese if you really please. Shredding up some Gruyère cheese for the onion soup. Shred, shred, shred the cheese, shredding Gruyère cheese. Shredding it is nice when you got the shred. Shred, shred, Gruyère cheese, shred if you please. Shredding up the Gruyère cheese if you really please. All right, let's take this bread out the oven. Or out the broiler, I should say. Look at that, nice and toasted, really fast. Ooh, that one's kind of dark. But we got that toasted. And now it's ready to prepare the final step. All right, now we get some of these little bowls here. We're gonna take a little piece of bread, put them at the bottom of the bowl. Yes, that's right. A little piece at the bottom of the bowl. Take our Gruyère cheese. Oops. Put a little Gruyère cheese on top of the bread like that. A little more Gruyère cheese over here. Now we're gonna pour this soup into these little tubs here, these little crocks. All right, now we gotta ladle out some of the soup. Ladle. And put it into these bowls. Ladle. Ladle, 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 ladle. Ladle in the soup. Ladle, ladle, ladle. Ladle, ladle, ladle. A little more for here. La 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 la. Now we put in some more bread. Put it on top of each one over here. And put some more Gruyère cheese on top. And we're going to put this in the broiler for 5 minutes. 5 minutes in the broiler. Let it all crisp and crunch together. Crisp and crunch, crunch the munch, dee boop 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 doop. The crisp and crunch. All right, we're going to put this in the broiler for 5 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes. All right, let's get this out of the broiler and get this ready to be served. Ooh, look at that, percolating, percolating. It's percolatingly hot. Ooh, too hot for this. All right, we're gonna let this cool down before we add the final touch, the piece de resistance. Yes, indeed, a piece of resistance. All right, here we go. We're gonna add just one little last touch, and we're gonna do it with a little bit of fire in our hearts. Yes, that's right. Take a nice little cooking torch and melt some extra cheese on top. Hopefully it doesn't flambe up too much. Here we go. Just a little bit. Here we go. All right, time to play the meal. Time to play the meal. Let's see how this onion soup came out. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Time to play the meal. Very cheesy, if you pleasey. Not bad. Not bad at all. You know, it's a great appetizer. What great to have is a meal itself. You know, Lipton, or I should say, I didn't have Lipton. I made French onion soup from scratch. Very tricky, but you know, it's always a nice little fanciness. A lot of cheese, a lot of very French, but it's been requested from a number of people: Liam Harris, Cory DiMaria, Jordan Walecki, Kate Nelson. All said I should make a Lipton I always get Lipton onion soup because I always make that Lipton onion soup as an ingredient. Should make onion soup, and you know what? It came out okay. And besides which, I got to play with this thing. So if you have no any other recipe I should use, maybe another recipe I could use for my kitchen torch. I got a new toy. Let me know. Email me, njtank99@gmail.com. And you never know what I'm going to make next. So, till next time, manja, bon appetit. Let's eat.